Good evening all. Good evening YouTube. Good evening all 23 people that are joined. And I can't believe we've got so many people on a roasting evening. So good evening all. I'll go through the chat in a minute, but I'm just going to go to Jay and also explain why there's the two of us for now.
Yeah, evening Paul, how are you? You're all good?
Yeah, I'm good. I am good. The tank is still there, but we can come on to that a little bit later. A little bit of progress has been made. I'd say a little, but nevertheless, we inch forward.
That's it. It's 2 weeks since I've seen that tank, actually, so I'm ready for a little update, see where you're up to. I'm sure it was the middle of June that was the deadline for
it was end of June, before I went away. So I don't want to leave my kids to look after the tank. So, yeah, we're coming out to a little while. So, right, let's go through and see who's in the chat. We are probably going to cover, I'm sure, temperature as it's sweltering across the UK. So, in the chat, tell us the temperature of your tank, and we'll come on to ours in a minute. And then if you put your temperature and also what you're doing to keep it cool. So let's see what we got.
It's like top trumps now, isn't it? Who's got the hottest tank?
Yeah,
I've got one that's a lot hotter than the other, but we'll save that for a few moments. But
absolutely. So first in the house was Russell. Good evening, DC Reefing, AB Reef is in the house.
Yeah.
Mr. Aqua Ian. He's on the Stella, 26.5 degrees. Yeah, as we see him for the first time, we should show our mugs.
There we go. If anybody else wants me to drink out of their mug, then I'm happy to do that with my Yorkshire tea.
I think we'll move on quickly. Evening, Howard. UK Reef Bro. Good evening,
Evening.
To you, Hayley.
Hi, Hayley.
Reef Geeks. UK M120.
Good evening, mate.
What else have we got? Techers of the Reefer. Good
evening,
very polite ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Oh, very formal for this evening.
Andrew Patterson. I always comment on his logo.
What the hell is going on there? Is that like a jellyfish?
Yeah.
Very cool.
No. Good evening, Skids.
Oh dear, that's a pretty good name actually for
it is, right. So and then Mini Reef 25. Good evening. Southeast Reefer.
Oh.
Keep it. What's it? I managed to keep tank at right temperature all day. Last 5 minutes, it started to tell me it getting too high. Yeah, mine's gone up in the last 45 minutes, and I usually find in hot weather it goes up more in the evening. Yeah, and I suppose it starts getting a bit more humid, although there's a bit of a breeze here. Cheap Reefer. Yeah.
I think our temperatures in the UK though, they don't peak till about 4 in the afternoon. I don't want to get geeky on the geography, but yeah it's a bit later than most in most places, so we get hot evenings.
Absolutely. NG Reefer. Let's see who else I've missed. Evening, Kim.
Hi, Kim.
John Wright.
John, hello, John. Good to see you. That means you're in for a bumpy ride.
Nature Boy. I don't know if I like that picture or not. Love the jacket. Love the jacket.
Yeah, very smart.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I think we are in the lovely Poetry Witch. I'm sure we'll get some poetry as we go throughout. Right. Okay. So let's have a quick look at temperatures. So we've had a 27.4. That is the highest I think so far, but I haven't really started going through. So DC Reefing 27.4. You do anything to control it or just let it do its thing? Haley 26.7.
Yeah, not too bad. What's
25.5 all day, but now 25.8. Wow. That's still
and that's the southeast of England. That's the hottest part usually. Yeah, so done very well there. Must be.
The hand net is looking good tonight.
Don't start with that. Do not start with that already. They were at it where they last week when I wasn't even here apparently.
Yes.
Sort of hair net.
I think I might have prompted that, but do you know what? It wasn't me. It was Steve.
Was it? I thought it was Korean, but
maybe I'm not too sure. But anyway, Steve's at work.
Looking good.
Yeah, it is. Steve's at work. Stephen's at work tonight, and he'll be with us about 9ish. Ross still can't make it with us. He sends his regards.
He does.
He'll be back as soon as possible.
He does.
24.8. So that you would argue is spot on, with no change. So Andrew, are you in the UK, or you got somewhere else, or you got a chiller, or you may be in part of the country where it's 15 degrees? I think Northern Ireland was in the teens today. I think.
Was it?
I think so.
I know it drops by about 14 degrees overnight, doesn't it?
Yeah. 26.5 for Ian.
Yeah.
Skids is 25.8 and he's using his fans. 25.9, 25.8, 25.8. Blind shut, doors, windows closed, fan on. Yeah, good call.
Are these all aquarium fans, or are they room fans as well? I don't know.
Oh yeah, good point.
People double up, don't they?
Yeah. Here we go. 2 5-inch PC fans blown in the sump.
Very good.
Oh, I've lost 25 to 24.9 there somewhere. Where's that gone? 24.9.
I see, that's really good. I think UK 120's got a large tank, hasn't he? He's got a much larger tank, I think.
Yeah. 27 in the Midlands, 26 in the tank, so that is good. 26 degrees, that's pretty good. I think we're 27.4 already, so that's the highest, 26.4. And it's running on Sweet FA. Is that a fan?
Very good.
Curtains closed, have a fan on, but that's more for my puppy. I'm happy at 26.7. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's about a 2-degree tolerance, isn't there? So about 27, you'll be all right.
Yeah. Are we on widescreen? Yeah, it's wider because there's only 2 of us. It shrinks with more people.
I'm not sure it's going to be a good look with us on widescreen, to be honest.
That's why they spotted the hair net so early.
That is a bit, yeah. It's not going to be very flattering.
Yeah. Stu's Reef, 26 degrees, using ice packs and fans to keep the temperature down.
So I had to use ice packs today.
Yeah. Right, 25.8, 25.5 in the sump. Hot in Surrey. Tank is 28.
28. Wow, that's the winner.
That's the record so far. 26.2. And Lowick's hit 28 before with no issues. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Hayley. I think it's 28. I might have had a bit more, but I don't know. But touch wood, I've been okay for most summers. Can't see Jay behind the comments. Huh. Okay.
I think he's taking the mic there, to be honest.
Okay.
Pretty big on the screen.
Right, so we've got a variety then from normal up to 28 degrees. A lot of people 25.8 to about 26. So what's happening with your two? Because I see you've got the 2 tanks there. Yeah,
so I don't know. I think my house must be quite a warm house for some reason, and every time upstairs it just gets hot. But the nano tank managed to get up to 26.7 today. But then who was it that's floating ice packs? So I'm doing the same. So what I do is I put them in a plastic bag, just in case there's any leakage, and then just pin them in the lid and then just float them. I took it down to 25.8, and now it's at 26 again. So it's like you say, because it's getting the evening time, it's still getting warm. Yeah, it's crept back up to 26. But yeah, it's all. That one's all good. The Pico is a completely different story. The Pico got to 30.4 today.
Wow.
Whilst I was at work. So I obviously couldn't do anything about that. Just got home, saw it was 30.4. Took a quick picture for Instagram. And then and here we've got it now, look. So we've got it chilling. Now there are other brands of peas. But this is the one that I've decided to use today. I think they're good. But I've just started because the tank is so small, you can't really put fans on it or anything in it. So here it is. This is the Pico chiller.
Oh dear.
You see what I did there, Paul?
Unfortunately I did, Jay. I wish it got over my head, but unfortunately it didn't.
So we've got the Pico chiller at the moment. This is the problem with the Pico. I can't keep the temperature stable. It's all over the place. At the moment, it's 28 and it's 28.9.
Yeah.
But I've had a real problem with this Pico, and I'm almost about to give up with it, to be honest. And the main problem is temperature. I just can't hold a stable temperature at all. 23.5, and then obviously today it was 30.4. Nothing's ever going to do well in a tank that fluctuates that much, and I can't keep it stable for the temperature. So
I get it because it's hot out. Do you think that the heater is up to it in terms of doing what it should do? Because it shouldn't get to 23 if the heater's working and the
it's
temperature controller's okay on it.
it's like a toy heater, isn't it? It's a USB one. It's not really professional kit, to be honest. I could do with a better one, but it's the only one I've got at the moment. And it went to 23.5 because I left the windows open overnight. That's another problem. And the heat obviously couldn't maintain the temperature of the tank. Whereas my Nano, even if I leave the window open, it will stay at 25.
You've got a larger body of water, haven't you, which then the fluctuates less quickly. And then you obviously got a proper heater in that can cope with the winter and the chill coming through.
Yeah, I just feel that this Pico, in terms of its 2.5, well, is it 2.5 litres?
Something like that, yeah.
It's just out of the sweet spot for me. I just find it too difficult to keep anything stable, in particular the temperature. The Nano, the 75 litre is much easier. And then I'm guessing when you go up a bit further, the 250s and the 300s and the 4, I think that gets a bit easier then because it's such a large body of water. It's not going to change very much, is it?
Well, that is at 26.2 because I've just checked on the Apex. And the 2 tanks in the garage are 26.2. And I came in from the outside, was in the car at 7 o'clock, and it was 32 degrees out. But I think I said it before, downstairs, no windows open. I mean, the curtains I've just closed because I've come in here. But I do find if you close the doors and the windows downstairs, it stays cool in the house. Upstairs, I think Haley's put in there about heat rises. And if I go upstairs, the tank would be hotter upstairs for sure. So that's the downside of having a tank upstairs, that you naturally is going to be hotter there, and having the windows open gets the fresh air in, but probably makes it worse. So they're probably doing quite well in that temperature for a tank that's on the first floor. Yeah,
Haley's exactly right. Yeah, it's on the second floor, so it's just it is a battle. And listening to your little rule there, as you can see at my house, we have I have both windows wide open. So it's like, again, I might be my own worst enemy here, to be honest. But probably keeping it closed and with the curtains shut. But I want to enjoy the sunshine as well. I want to be able to see the beautiful outside.
I know. It's a balance, isn't it? It really is.
I want to live in a dungeon in the summer.
Yeah. So everyone's opening the doors, and I'm going around closing the doors and saying, "Don't open the doors, don't open the windows. If you want some fresh air, go outside." Because I know what will happen if I open the door for a period of time, the heat will just go up. Outside temperature. And I've never ever done anything with the tanks in terms of the heat. I've just left it and does its own thing. And I think the only thing I might have lost is the odd SPS as I've come out of the heat, and then 2 weeks later the odd SPS has started to strip. It might be something down to something different, but I put it down to the heat. But in the main, and I have the sun on the front all day, and the tank's in the garage with the sun on it. And it's been fine. So I always was worried about the garage and it heating up, and it's the same temperature out there as it is in
here as well.
So
I mean, how long does it take to show if your coral's got stress with the heat? Is it not? It's not immediate, is it?
No, you find I find they start to shrivel up a little bit, so not as puffy. SPS is quite hard because I find the polyps start to retract. But with SPS, I think it can take 2 or 3 weeks before they bail out, and then you don't know, and you're thinking, what is it, this? Is it that? So I think that's harder, but you usually find they start to wither a little bit. But I'm more worried about, so I turn up the power heads a little bit sometimes because I'm more worried about the oxygen levels because of the heat and the fish. Yeah. You can usually see if the fish, because they'll just start getting a bit wobbly, and they'll just whack up the power on the power heads, and then they'll be all right. But touch wood, in all the years, so what's that? This will be the 9th summer. I think 8th or 9th summer. It's been okay, and I've had a tank, or at least one tank in that time. There was a comment earlier on. I think it was Economical Reefer says what he does before the summer, he starts to increase the temperature on his tank. So I had someone today who bought a couple of corals, and we was talking, and he does exactly the same. He increases the temperature by 0.1. I think he keeps his tank at about 24.8, 24.9, and he'll increase it up to about 26 over a period of time. So therefore, there's less stress on his corals.
And then gradually drops it back down for the winter.
And then, absolutely. And then bring it back down. We could probably do it over 5 or 6 days, because if you implement, let's face it, we've got swings at the moment where people's tanks are going up by a degree and a half in a matter of hours. So taking it by 0.2, 0.3 in a day is not going to make
There you
That's
go. That's the tip of the day. It doesn't have to be peas, though. It can actually be anything, but yeah, just putting against the glass.
Yeah, we've got a few pea jokes there.
I am really sorry that we've had to lower the humour down to this, but I am a dad, and I can get away with dad jokes. That's how it works.
Absolutely, Captain Birdseye's and you or the channel. Kim, my Pico is doing okay with that heater, keeping stable at 25.3. Went 26.6 today whilst I was out, but room fan brought it back down.
Okay.
So I'm assuming I don't know if that's the same. I don't know if that's the same heater you've got, or there's a couple out there, isn't there, for the Pico? They've got USB. Might be the same one.
Yeah, Kim's beating me hands down here. Sounds like hers is going really well, and mine's going to be a bit of a car crash at the moment.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I know people running a pipe through the fridge and it works. A bit extreme, but if it works and you got a problem with your tank, it's stopping it. Yeah. Well, I know people who put bottles of ice in and all kinds of things into their sump to keep the temperature down.
That seems a bit extreme. The pipe from the fridge, especially in my house, I'd have to run it upstairs.
By the time it gets back, it'll be warm again, won't it?
No, that's right. Yeah, I think I'll stick with the ice packs or the frozen bottles. But if you use the frozen bottles, you have to put it in a bag just in case it leaks, don't you? Because you don't want the fresh water in there.
Yeah, absolutely. The problem with big tanks, once they heat up, they stay hot for longer. Yeah, it works both ways, isn't it? It's longer to heat up and then longer to cool down. When I had someone who come to bring get some corals for me, I obviously filled up some bags. There was a couple of big corals, and what I've had to do now is turn my return pump off because I need to top it up with salt water. The problem is the salted water has been in the garden, and when I've touched the container, the salt water is really hot. So if I put that into the tank, that's actually going to make the tank really hot. So I've actually poured some salt water into 2 or 3 bottles and put those in the fridge. And at 10 o'clock tonight, I'll turn the retiring pump back on and put that water back in. I'm only missing about 2 or 3 litres. It might not make much difference, but when I actually touch the container, it's really hot. So I don't really want to risk increasing the temperature. I won't probably do it that much, but
no, it's sensible. Not rushing, that's the thing, because you could have just poured it in, then you'd have had issues when you
but the thing is, I haven't got to worry about heat. Obviously the heat is in the sun, it doesn't matter. And then I've got the power heads on, so there's enough flow. So the fact that the return pump is off for probably 3 hours makes no odds.
What's going on here? Oh dear.
I'm sure that one will run.
Pea jokes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Open the loft. See, that's a good idea because it is a big difference when you open the loft hatch.
See, if I open my loft hatch, it's really hot up there.
Is it?
Yeah, mine is.
Mine tends to be a bit cooler, to be honest.
So yeah, I mean, we had not a loft conversion, but we had windows that open in the loft, and we used to open those windows, and you get a real nice breeze that actually came in and went down the rest of the house. But if I did it at the moment, it'd be a right nightmare. But for some people, houses are designed differently, aren't they? But that's a good idea if you've got a cooler loft.
I think we're getting up to the most ideas to cool your tank down. There's some very creative ideas going on.
Well, putting the pipe through the fridge, I'm thinking, I've not heard that one before.
And then have a chimney and a loft hatch. Get those built in time.
Absolutely. Close windows and curtains. I know it's crap, but you need to close them early morning. Take longer for the house to heat up, keeping the tank cooler until temperatures drop. Yeah, absolutely.
Sensible, that is,
yeah. Is your newest coal any better or worse in this heat, or no difference, Jay?
I think it's actually better. Well, it's not better. It's good. Are you on about the Binky Balls one? Is that what you're on about? The Gonny? The Gonny's doing really well, actually. Some of the others what's that?
Is that your latest? Coal?
Yeah, that's the latest, yeah. Some of the others are not as good as what they were, but that one's doing pretty well. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
So we're just going to change the subject. So change the subject. Anyone have an elegance coral come off its skeleton? Is he a goner? I don't think it's the heat. I've recently turned flower because I want to concentrate on more SPS. So I've never had an elegance coral before, but from what I've read, if it comes off its skeleton, it is a goner. But I've not experienced that before. It's only from what I've read. So that might be accurate or not. So I don't know. But I've got no, I mean, they look lovely, but I've never had an elegance coral. I think Steve has. We'll ask him that later on. That one there, don't use frozen bottles, just buy freezer blocks. You have a constant swap over if you have 3 or 4. It's a good idea there. Temp controller with an average table fan. Yeah. I've seen some people, if they've got a sump, have the doors open to the sump and then just have a fan blowing on the sump, and that cools it down a little bit. That's fair enough. Don't have extreme heat very often. It's just a case when we do, we all have a bit of a
panic. And it's, I mean, this hobby is you are quite badly affected, aren't you, when you get temperature swings? So yeah, but yeah, we all go a bit mental when there's a bit of temperature, don't we?
Yeah.
I'm one of the worst for it. I always post a picture on Instagram. I'm like, oh, look at my temperature. And so,
I saw that yesterday. Yeah.
I just can't resist. I'm like, just the worry around it, isn't it?
And then you probably make everyone else worry. It was okay until they saw your post.
Well, that's probably it, yeah.
There you go. To lower temp, I've been turning heater off for 5 minutes, then back on, and it's back to 25 degrees. But if you have your controller at 25 degrees,
yeah.
So my tanks usually run at about 24.6 to 0.8. I keep the temperatures fairly low because, well, it's one thing I've done it historically, but also there's quite a bit recently around. If you keep your temperature a little bit lower, you save electricity, blah, 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 because it makes sense. But if you want to keep it at 25, would you not set the controller at 25? Unless I've misunderstood that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my loft is a sauna right now. There'll be people going up in their lofts, going up in your loft for a minute, and then come back and tell if it's hotter, the same, or lower.
In the loft. That's what she's just done. Oh, don't open the loft hatch. Maybe I'm just remembering it when it was winter, when I went up for the Christmas tree or something. It was freezing cold.
It's really cold, yeah, probably.
Maybe it is. I haven't got time to go check though.
The thing is, though, Jay, in the winter, you don't want your loft to be hot because that means a lot of heat is escaping from the rest of the house.
Yeah.
UKM20 happened to me. This must be an elegance coral. Once off the skeleton, it was floating around the tank. Didn't last long after that. I don't know what causes it. Whether, because you said it's not the temperature, so it could be flow. I think you said you've increased your flow. I don't know if would flow cause something to come off of. I suppose if it was blasted, it could do. My loft is currently 39 degrees. Thanks, Russell. We'll see if anyone can beat that.
Is everybody just leaving the live stream to go and check their loft out and see what's going on?
The numbers are going down.
Degrees. Wow.
Agree, Paul, it will be, but thermodynamics dictate that heat rises. That heat won't come down into the house. Yeah.
It's getting very scientific now, isn't it?
That's true. With mine, it's hot up there and there's no way for the heat to escape.
But so maybe it sucks out heat.
Yeah.
Maybe it takes the heat from the second floor. I like this idea.
I get it. So I don't understand the thermodynamics. I'll leave that to the geography teacher, the thermodynamics. So I get the fact that heat rises, but what about if it can't escape?
Well, it can't it, from the loft? There's there's vents in the roof that
you've got. Yeah, you should have round. Talking about roofs now, aren't we? I'm not an expert on roofs.
Welcome to tonight's live stream on
roofs. Talk about. Right? So I know around the eaves of it that there should be air around that to stop damp and stuff like that. But I'm thinking about a big old, window you can open, and absolutely, it all then escapes.
Yeah.
So Howard, with your thermodynamic hat on, if you don't have windows, it escapes from the second, obviously your first floor into the loft. Does it make it cooler?
I reckon Howard knows what he's talking about.
Absolutely.
He's used the word thermodynamics, so I'm in. He seems to know what he's doing there.
Yeah. So last week we talked about cleaning power heads and stuff like that, and I think a few of us said about using citric acid, and I've been using it for a while, and I just sent the link over to John. What I couldn't believe was the price, a 2 kilogram bag. I bought a bag in October for £8.99 from Amazon. This is not fish related, by the way. This is citric acid you can use in food or whatever you use it in. And when I looked, it was £21.99. So from October, it had gone from £8.99 to £21.99. Now, what Steve was telling me, because I sent it over to him, he thought that was really cheap because he's been buying little pots or something or other that's more expensive, but it just shows you how expensive stuff is, that in the space of 9-ish months, it's gone from $8.99 to $21, which is 250% ish.
Yeah, they're going to say that's more than petrol, which is ridiculous as well at the moment.
And I'm thinking, how can it go up by that much? Because of I get it's diesel and postage and everything else, but I just thought they're taking the what.
There must be a shortage of lemons. There must be a shortage of lemons or something, I don't know.
Well, I don't know, but that's a lot of money, though, isn't it? 200.
It's a huge amount of money. It's a huge amount of money.
But the alternative is you use vinegar and you mash up your power heads.
Yeah, so maybe.
If you're spending a couple £100 on power heads, it's probably and it lasts a long time. So anyway, that's what that comment is. Glad I could help though. Hi, Woody.
Hi, Woody.
I recently bought a Philips air purifier, an amazing machine to clean air in the room. So quite great in this weather, as helps to cool the air in the room, aiding the fish tanks and keeping.
Aren't they dearer than a Reef tank though to buy one? I think they're super expensive.
I don't know.
I'm sure.
I know the Dyson ones are, but that's the kind of combination of a fan and an air purifier.
Yeah, it's similar to this though, I think.
Yeah.
The Dyson ones are extortion, aren't they?
Yeah. They are.
That's what I've heard. Someone else has paid $7.99 for a bag of citric acid, so you must be going to the wrong place.
Well, I haven't bought any, so I haven't. Tell us where. So mine was bought in October, and I still got that bag. So Agrian was asking about the pink.
The pink garnet is doing really well. Yeah, it's just up here at the moment, and it's. In fact, I'll give you a little closer up. It's not fully.
Do you want to do a tour, and then we come back to? We've got some.
I need to feed my fish. To be fair, they haven't been fed yet, so I do need to feed them.
So let's go on solo, and then you can talk us through what you got there, what you're feeding, all that kind of stuff. I'll take that comment off first. We'll have a little guided tour by you, Jay.
Right. Okay. I'll take a little tour. Things aren't perfect at the moment. I'll be honest. So there's a few things that are not as good as what they were. Got a bit of algae, but right, here we go. So that's me. There it is, the pink one there. Do I need to put a bit more light on, or can you see it?
I think so. It looks quite coloured out because of the filter.
Well, let me get my paintbrush out. Wait a minute.
Take the orange filter off, Joe. See what it looks like. It just looks blue now. I know, isn't it? It's adjusting.
Is that any good?
I think that's better. It's still not very pink, but the other corals have coloured up miraculously.
Which ones? Oh, right. The tracking. Yeah. There you go. So, yeah, here it is. Here's the Gonny. That's the latest one. So it's doing pretty well. It is. Yeah, let me get some more blue on it, see if that makes a difference. There's my other one, my pink daisies, but they're closing up a little bit for the night. But you can see here, look, there's my algae, look.
Jay, is that really a problem?
No,
having a bit of algae? Because I don't think it's bad for the tank, as long as you're not overrun and it's killing the corals. I'm not convinced that having an algae-free or a totally free of anything in your tank is the best way to go. I'm not convinced. That's better.
Is that better? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there it is. No, to be honest, I don't mind. I've always had a little bit of algae on that rock, and if the rest of the tank's fine, I kind of just leave it. It's part of the ecosystem, isn't it? You can't influence everything. Some things just want to grow. So that's there. There's the algae up that bit there. So there it is. My torch. Oh my! If the eagle-eyed viewers here might notice that my Holy Grail torch up here is a bit. Have you noticed it's a bit smaller?
What one is it, Jay? Is it on the left, middle, or right?
It's this one here.
Okay, on the left.
Yeah, that one there. So it was 4 heads, and when I went away on holiday, came back and it started stinging the SPS. So I had to. I took it off the rock and took it up to Christian. Yeah. So at Signature Frags, Christian took 2 of the heads off, so now it's only 2 heads instead of 4. So that's shrunk down a little bit. But,
wait a minute. So you've got him fragging stuff for you now as well, have you?
Yeah, because I don't know. I can't do it myself, can I? Really, I haven't got a coral cutter, and I don't really want to risk doing it myself. So I just took it up there, and he gave it a haircut basically.
So what happened to the 2 frags?
So he's got them at the moment. He'll look after them, probably put them on sale, and I got some credit for more coral, basically. So I swapped it for credit. I didn't buy any more corals, but when I have the upgrade, then I've got some credit there to buy some new corals, basically.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. Right. Let me try and feed these guys and girls here. So what I'm feeding today, lobster eggs. Don't know if you can see anyway, but lobster eggs, which they love. Well, the corals love the lobster eggs more so because it's the fine food. And then marine feast as well. It's a bit of marine feast as well. So
what's marine feast? Is that frozen? Or?
Yeah, it's just frozen. It's got bits of mice, shrimps, and I don't know what else in there.
So it's got a bit of a mix, basically.
A bit of a mix. Yeah. So I just generally just broadcast feed it for. Oh my, I'm going mad here. Yeah, just do a little bit of broadcast feeding. My shrimp will come out in a minute, I guess.
That red shrimp looks huge.
It is huge. It's like a lobster. Look, see it? Can you see it?
Yeah.
It is huge.
That's such a lovely colour. Those.
But that's why I wanted it, because it was just so big. I was like, oh, that looks so cool. Definitely want that in there. And then I always spot feed my my scolly down here. The scolly is just so good to feed.
Yeah.
Just the way in which they react to the food. So I can spot feed that.
They go inside out, don't they? Quite often, the scollies.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, my Randall shrimp might come out in a minute. And that.
So how much have you got there? Is that half a cube or a cube?
That's roughly how. Oh, you can see the pistol shrimps come out a little bit. I don't know if you can see down here.
Yes.
Just behind the goby. They'll come back out in a second. Yes, about half a cube it is, roughly, of each one. So I feed quite heavy, to be honest. I do feed quite heavy. But I've got a lot of biomedia. I change out the filters quite often. And the tank seems to like heavy feeding.
Well, it's going to like it, isn't it? Because it's getting the nutrients from the food. And are you still doing weekly water changes, Jay?
Yeah, I do between 10 and 15% water changes, so it does get a weekly water change as well. But yeah, I always find that the tank looks worse when I underfeed, because obviously there's not enough nutrients in the water.
Yeah.
So I do overfeed just so everything's happier. The corals are happy as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to say the floating aquascape is looking really good at the moment, and the nitrates are between 30 and 40. So I have got I've got bubble algae in it, which is a bit of a pain. But do you know what? I just look through that because the corals are looking great on it, and I think that is down to high nutrients.
Yeah.
Did you see that video from what's that Canadian channel you like?
I love this Fragbox TV.
Yeah. Did you see the AAC?
I did.
Review, because the main display tank, the nitrates in there, I think Paul was saying they're between 50 and 60, and he's got loads of SPS in there and other things. I mean, obviously, he's got a lot of stuff that pulls the nutrients out, but that's really high. And a lot of people wouldn't go anywhere near a tank of that kind of nutrients. Yeah,
I personally think that the tanks, your livestock and the corals look so much more colourful and healthier if there's more nutrients, elevated nutrients. So I've not been that bothered. One thing that is bothering me now, though, the coralline algae. So people say, it's really good to have the coralline algae, but I mean, look at my back wall now. It's not going to win any beauty contests, is it?
Well, the thing is, coralline algae, I mean, if you scrape that off, there's no problem with the tank scraping that off. What I find, I can't remember what coralline algae, whether it consumes, I think it consumes alkalinity and calcium.
It does,
I can't remember if it consumes one more than the other. But by having that, you'll need to dose more. So actually, by taking it off and taking it out of the tank, you would actually reduce your consumption. But it depends. I mean, some people love having the coralline algae on the back, and others absolutely hate it and want it really, really clean. I think if you clean it makes the corals pop a bit more because you've got a blacker background to see.
I mean, personally, when I first, as a beginner, when I first saw it, I was like, oh yes, coralline algae. It's it's going well, in the sense that the tank's maturing. And now I see it and I go, oh, actually, I prefer it just to be black. But I didn't know you could just scrape it off. I didn't know how easy it, because it seems pretty baked on, to be honest.
So it would take some doing.
Yeah,
but you could get your scraper and do it. You might have to manually put your scraper in there and do it. But yeah, I've done it before on tanks, and when I've done it, I think it looks better because, as I say, you've got a nice backdrop for your corals, but it's personal preference.
Yeah, so you see where the Holy Grail is on the top of the torch, and then you've got the SPS there that's been stung. So I was losing. You see it on the edge again. So I've been losing it because of the torch, been stinging everything. So I've had to have it fragged up, and then I took another bit of the remaining bit that was the SPS over here that's sat, just to keep that one.
Jay, dare I say it? Those SPS are not looking brown. So have you painted them, or are they actually turning around?
No, they're
looking good. You can't be accused of being the brown SPS man.
Do you know what it is? I could be accused of the green. A lot of them look greenish coloured.
I wouldn't worry about that.
I just, the issue is every time I put my hand in, I knock them, frag them, take chunks off. So I just seem to disturb them all the time. So every time they're getting somewhere, I just end up knocking them, and or they end up getting stung by a torch, like that one there again.
Yeah. So
it's frustrating. I need more space so that the SPS can have its own. Its own area.
There's a question earlier on from DC Reefing. What's the upgrade, Jay? That's quite a good time to ask you.
That is a really good question. Who's DC Reefing?
Yeah.
So I have been taking. At first, I wasn't really taking a serious think about what to get, but now it's come to the point where I've got coral warfare, and I don't obviously want corals to die. So in the last few weeks, I have been seriously thinking about the upgrade. Probably around about November time, and I'm thinking the 250, is it the S2? The new Red Sea.
The Red Sea G. No, is it G2?
The G2,
S2 or whatever it is. Yeah, the second
the
series.
Newest version, with the Red Sea skimmer, maybe a Reef mat later on. Red Sea dosing. The thing is, I've really liked having Red Sea on here. I've enjoyed having the Red Sea tank and the Red Sea dosing. And I know I don't like. That's like Yorkshire. I don't like change. I like what I know, and I know what I like. So because the Red Sea's been good to me so far, the dosing and the tanks, I'm thinking that one. It's going to have to go in this room. This is only a really small room. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but it's only a small room. I couldn't have anything bigger than a 250 or a 300 maximum.
So it's basically it's a 3-foot tank, and I mean the difference is the 300 is 2 foot front to back, whereas the 250 is not so deep from front to back, is it?
That's right, yeah. So it fits basically. I'm going to show you the other side of the room.
You're showing us, but we can't see it.
It's not quite as tidy as the other bit. So I've got an alcove over here.
Yeah.
And basically, I'm going to take these shelves out. I'm going to have to lose my Lego roller coaster, which is a bit upsetting, and my Lamborghini, which I haven't quite finished. But yeah, I'm going to take these shelves out. So the 250 fits perfectly in there, front to back and side to side. So I've got a space that, it'd look really good in. So that's what I'm thinking. I've measured the area as well. I do fancy the new tank because obviously it's the latest edition. So that's appealing.
Yeah.
I like how the sump's laid out a little bit differently as well. It looks like it's got a dry section on the right hand side, and they seem to have stacked the sump more on the left hand side of the 250. The other thing that puts me off is when you go on eBay and you Google Red Sea aquariums, the 250 by far is the one that everyone's selling, like the whole feed. And I'm like, well, why is everybody selling the 250? What is it? Is it just a bit too small that you can't have, certain fish in there? I'd like to know what people think, because I'm I'm struggling.
So my view on that, I think 3-foot tanks are probably one of the most popular sizes that people upgrade to.
Yeah.
If you look on whether it be Facebook or Ultimate Reef, there was a lot of people leaving the hobby at the moment. So if a 3-foot is your kind of typical size, and a lot of people getting a hobby, maybe that's why. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I suppose you could also get people who got a 3-foot and upgrading, but you're not hearing loads of people upgrading at the moment. There's obviously people that are upgrading, but not as many as there was maybe 2 years ago. So it could be with that. So we just got a few comments here around tanks. I'm just going to put these on, and then I'm going to go back up to the top one in a little while.
Yeah, I'd like to hear from DC Reefing. Does he think I'm going for the right sort of? I mean, I wanted a frag tank, really. You know, a shallow reef.
Yeah.
Why don't Red Sea make a shallow reef tank? I don't understand. Why do they not do that? I know Waterbox has got one, but I don't really want to go down Waterbox. Just, I've got a bit of loyalty to Red Sea, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'd love Red Sea to make one. Yeah.
You could. I mean, a company that's not too far away from you is it Aquarium for Life. They've got a really good reputation for doing custom. I mean, they deliver tanks all over the place, but I haven't heard a negative comment about them. They've been around. I don't know how long they've been around. Maybe 3, 4, 5 years, maybe longer. But you hear every time you see a post of them, you got good comments on there. I haven't had anyone slate them, and their prices don't seem
reasonable.
So if you wanted a shallow reef, maybe if you went custom, that'd be a good company to look at. But I get the fact your loyalty to
I like Red Sea, and that reef mat. I've heard nothing but really good things about the reef mat. The only thing I wouldn't have Red Sea would be the lights. I'd stick with the Radian lights, but the reason why I'm waiting is because I'm going on holiday in the summer in like August time. I don't want to get a new tank and start messing about trying to set it up. So I want to have my holidays first. Yeah. And then focus in the autumn about, getting the new one up and running.
Yeah. So there's some comments there. I get the Red Sea Mini Peninsula. Is that actually out now?
Yeah.
People are taking offers. I didn't see it's actually out yet, but that looks really. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago, didn't we?
It's out. Really, you know what? If I was starting now, I'd get that tank, but because it only brings it out another 10 centimeters to this one. Yeah. It seems it's another £1,000 for not much more space. So
I don't think it's worth upgrading from. Was it 75 litres
to 100?
To 100. That's not really an upgrade, is it? From what you're saying, you're not really getting much more for your. And it's 1,000 if you buy the cabinet, isn't it? I think it's 800 for the tank, and 200 for the cabinet. In terms of whether you go for the Mini or the Peninsula, for value for money, I go Peninsula because you get more. You go from 75 to 100, which is a third more. Yeah, it's not a third more in cost, so you get more value from that if you've got the space, of course.
If anybody's watching and they want to dip the toe into reefing or thinking about starting, that's the tank that I would go with. Absolutely, it does look really good.
Yeah, there are some actually selling small bags of coral and algae for others to seed their tanks. Yeah, because that's true. Because quite often when it starts growing coral and algae, you know that you're ready for SPS. Yeah, usually, and so therefore, if you haven't got it, by introducing flakes of it, that helps encourage it and grow it.
I guess we could turn it into a shopping channel now. If anybody wants to buy some,
you scrape up a pot for them. Reef, I've just set up the Gen 2 Reefer 350. They're upgrading from the Nano, so that's the 350, which is
Gen 2,
the 4-foot tank.
Yeah, so. Stu's got the slightly more expensive one. Stu, are you on Instagram, Stu? I'd love to follow your journey with that new tank, that Gen 2. If you're on Instagram, I'm not sure if you are, but let me know. I fancy the Gen 2. They look good. They do look good.
They do. Yeah, you say with a 3-foot tank, and I found that with the DD Reef Pro. Yeah. There's no dry area, but it's in the garage, so it doesn't matter to me. For the simple reason that I've got the plugs and everything outside. So that would put me off. Did you say it's the Gen 2's got a dry area so you can put all your stuff?
Yeah, so it looks like they've stacked the left-hand side of the sump with your skimmer area, and it looks like the ATO sits on top. So then you've got I don't know if it's half the cabinet, but you've definitely got a third of the cabinet that's dry space on the new 250. And obviously then you've got the reef mat area as well. it looks very well thought out, and I do like the look of it. But I did want a shallow reef, but I know it's not a shallow reef. So, am I going to be 100% happy with it? I don't know. Hopefully. I
would get a quote from a couple of customs just to see if that whets your appetite.
Yeah.
And does it convince you to go custom? Because you have nothing to lose by getting a quote, have you?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
And also, you got more variety then in terms of the sump layout. You could have a sump dry area if you want for your size. And also, you could have it made so it could have the reef mat in it from a sump.
And you reckon you could get a tank custom for about, well, it's 1,200. The red, I think that's quite reasonable.
I've got no idea how much a custom tank is now because I've got no idea what the prices have done. But you could say to them, these are my measurements. This is what I want from sump, dry area, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And if it comes back in its eye water, at least you know that's not the way to go. Because if you really want a shallow reef, are you going to be happy with it? I don't know. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't like the water. I don't like the water box. Well, the water box one of the reasons why I don't like it is it would come out too far from the wall, and it wouldn't look right.
Yeah, so that's a 2 foot front to back, then, isn't it? Whereas the 250 is not. Whereas the 300 obviously would be 2 foot front to back and 2.
Because I looked at the DD 900, which I know you've got.
Yeah,
and that fits really well as well. But like you said, it hasn't got a dry area of the sump. That's
yeah, and also it's quite deep as well. That'd be 2 foot front to back. So I don't know if that's too deep for.
I think I've got about 55, 57 centimeters.
Yeah. Does coral grow over coralline algae and growing GSP at the back of the wall? I'm seeing coral. So I think it does. I haven't noticed coralline algae stopping SPS.
Yes,
I think it would, because I think it would just grow over it. Because it's quite dormant, isn't it? I don't think it's going to stop it like another coral. You're not going to get coral warfare.
You think it'd give it a surface to grip onto? Because it's quite rough, isn't it, coralline algae?
Yeah, I think it does. I haven't noticed areas where there's coralline algae that corals haven't grown.
See, that's having GSP would probably be better at the back. But as I say, now I'm phasing this one out now. Yeah.
Do your students know you're full-on geek and not just a reef geek?
They don't know, Hayley, and I don't ever want them to know, because I work with teenagers from the city, and they would some of them would come on here
and abuse
I don't know what they would say, but yeah, it wouldn't be filtered, I'm sure. But,
I mean, if they hear about the hairnet, that'll be it. You'll be toast, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and all the banter that everybody has on here, they'd be bringing it into the classroom, and I'd get no rest. So no, they don't know, and hopefully it stays that way.
Absolutely. Get the 300, Jay.
I know.
But the thing is, though, if you haven't got enough room,
I am restricted by the room. I've got this thing. So I mean, we live in a very modest house. I don't live in a big house at all. I don't really want it in the living room, downstairs. Obviously, this is the room that I can have my say on. So out of the whole house, I can do what I want in this room. My wife's happy for me to have reef tanks up here and things like that. It's fine. So and I'd like it to look neat, because I think they are living artwork. So I think it fits right and it's the right size. So a 300 would look. Yeah, 300 would be better. And maybe that's what I should go with as well. But I want it to look like it fits in perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a really good question here. What is the safest way to start an upgraded larger tank and move everything over from a smaller tank to the larger one? Use same sand, water, etc., or not?
Great question, because that's going to help me out. So I'd love to hear the answer to this one. How do you do it?
So the way that I would do it is slowly. So I'd have, if you can, the smaller tank still there. Yeah. I would cycle the bigger tank as you would ordinarily do. Because I've seen, I'm not saying people you can't do it successfully. I've seen people move everything over fairly quickly. And the thing is, if you were starting fresh, would you, sorry, that's just my alarm going off, my diabetes alarm. Would you start up a brand new tank and throw loads of corals in from day one, expecting them to survive? So what I've seen quite recently, if people upgrading tanks to larger, they put loads of fish in there, they put a lot of coral in there, they then have problems because your nutrients go down, because when you put loads of coral into a tank, it starts sucking up the nutrients.
Yeah.
Then it bottoms out. You then start getting dinos, or it goes the other way and you get too much in terms of nutrients and you start getting algae problems because you've got instability in your tank. So if you've got room, I would start your tank up as you usually would. The good thing is I would then seed that new tank with maybe a couple of cups of sand from the other.
So
maybe
you take
put
some of your sand over,
I would maybe put a couple of pieces of rock in there. If you've got any bioballs,
in the sump or in the display?
Depends. Doesn't matter. If you want to use that in your aquascape, then great. If not, then put it in your sump, because what you're trying to do is seed the new tank. So I'd put maybe a couple of bioballs in there, a couple of pieces of rock, a little bit of sand, because that takes it away from being sterile. And then gradually just move over the corals as and when. I personally, but then I'm not a great lover of rushing things. So that's what I would do. Yeah.
I think everything in this hobby that's done quickly is done badly often, isn't it? So if you take your time with it, it might take a couple of months, 2 to 3 months to get everything over then.
Yeah. So Hayley's putting there. So Hayley, she said about she swapped over many tanks over. Have you done it really quick and whacked everything over, Hayley, or have you taken your time, or have you done it both ways?
It's hard to be disciplined though when you've got your new tank. You just you just want to get up and running, don't you? That's the thing. But
yeah, absolutely right. So let's just Jay, I bet you like Lego.
It's one of my guilty pleasures. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Water box arcade.
I like the cade tanks, but in an alcove they just don't work with, like the Lamborghini doors. They just don't work, do they? But
not there. Yeah, you're right.
And the price of cade, they're a lot. So it's £1,000 more for a cade, the same size as the Red Sea.
Yeah, absolutely. New sand, new water. The bacteria is in the rock. Add a bottle of bacteria to help you mini cycle. Tekker's Reef, I got the 300. So obviously that's the front to back 2 foot.
Yeah, that's a lovely tank.
Russell is doing the same. Absolutely, yeah. Cade looks really lovely, but very expensive.
Yeah.
What do you call your giant shrimp, Jay? Has it got a name?
Actually, it hasn't got a name. No, it hasn't got a name, this one. So I bought it with, I met up with Aquarian, and I bought it at the same time as we met up. And no, it hasn't got a name. I haven't named it. So if anybody wants to give it a name in the chat, I'll ask my little boy. He's very good with names as well. Do that.
Have you ridden on your Lego roller coaster?
You know what? It's a damn good toy, that is. I'm going to be sad to take it down, to be honest. It is super cool. But I don't know. Like some people I don't know. I won't bore you. I like Lego.
People say you should start a Lego channel. Jay's real Lego.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've got a few bits in there. No, but I'm not doing. I ain't got time to do my reefing videos. Never mind Lego channel. I've nearly finished the kids' exams, so I'm going to start putting on YouTube. So sorry, I haven't been posting on YouTube.
Wait a minute, you're putting the kids' exams on YouTube, or you're going back to reefing?
No, I've been taking them through their exams. The A-levels are still going on at the moment, but so if you've got any students in year 11 or 13, or any kids, they've had a really hard, stressful time, but we're nearly there.
Absolutely. Going to transfer water over a few days and dose to match parameters, then literally move everything across in one day.
Yes. See, I'm tempted to take some water over. I wasn't wanting to take the sand, but I was going to take the rocks and the bioballs.
Yeah. So the bacteria is going to be in your rocks.
Yeah.
And it's going to be in the sand, although if you take too much of sand, you may stir it up. So a couple of cups of sand, what I've used before and seen others do, and it's ideal because it helps seed your new sand as well.
Yeah, so I did that. So I've moved. I don't know, you won't probably tell, but I've moved that whole large rock here.
Okay.
And I shuffled it over further to this side. I've made more room in this corner for the area for the goners, and I must have moved about 80% of the sand in the bottom. And then for 2 days, the corals, I mean, they're still kind of recovering a little bit. because obviously the ammonia must have shot up.
Yeah.
And then I've caused myself a little ammonia spike. So some of the torches in the last few days have not been fully extended. The Duncan still looks okay, but some of them, I could tell me disturbing the sand has really annoyed a few of the corals recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Yeah.
Some other comments. A4L has a really long lead time. So that's the aquariums for life.
Those for life.
A backlog on that. DC Reefing is the 3 foot water box, 90.
So that's the same size as the 250, I think.
Yeah.
It looks it.
There you go, Reef King. You can have my shallow reef, which is what, 2 foot by 2 foot, and then 12 inches high. So that is that's probably a bit smaller. Is that, so no, 2 by 2? Because you're looking for 3 foot.
Yeah, that is a bit too small. Yeah, I want 3 foot by nearly 2 foot wide.
Yeah. So custom tanks are the way forward. And I know I've been exchanging messages. I know that Reef King loves a shallow reef.
Yeah, I was jealous of his when he got his shallow. There's something about them that I just really like, and that's what's worrying me, because if I don't get a shallow reef, I'm gonna have to get one at some point. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And then that's more money, isn't it? So if I just get one this time around,
I can see the pound notes going around in your head. And if I upgrade again, that's kind of 2 points the same size. I might as well just get it to begin with. I don't know.
I don't like wasting money. This hobby's expensive, so you've got to make the right decisions, haven't you?
Can be. Innovative Marine at Charterhouse. So that's the one Nathan Willard, hasn't it? I don't know if he's seen his latest setup. So he's got a shallow reef with the IM.
Yeah, it's nice.
It does look. No, I don't know what the size is. I don't know if that's a.
But I'd want one wider. I think is it 2 foot by 2 foot, that one? I think again.
I think I think it's a 2 foot tank. Whether you can get a 3 foot one, but of course it hasn't got a sump, is it? I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you'd have a 3 foot tank with. I suppose it's just a case of, do you want to then go your upgrade having a sump, and then you can experiment and start getting used to different kit and things like that. I don't know if that will be part of the experience you want, Jay. I don't know.
Yeah, the nearest one at the moment I think is the water box for the size and spec. But
yeah, and then Howard saying about, have you seen Nathan's shallow reef?
Yeah, it just looked really nice. He's going to do a really good job with that, because I learned quite a bit from him. Well, he got me into the hobby initially from YouTube. I used to watch a lot of his videos.
Yeah. Another one then, 300 XL is better than 250. It's taller and wider. Is it taller? I knew it was definitely wider. I didn't realise it was. I think if it's taller, that probably means it's not as shallow. Yeah. Because I imagine the cabinet's the same height, so therefore your glass is slightly higher, which then means it's less of a shallow reef. Might be worth looking on that, because if it's a taller display, Jay, you're probably not going to want that, because it'll be less. Looks like a shallow reef.
Yeah.
There's always fit filtration. Aaron's aquarium where there's other ones, absolutely. Where are we going?
Maybe it is.
Now, actually, you could have one radium, because I know Steve was saying, and I've seen elsewhere, if you get an XR30, that people are saying that can go across a 4 foot tank. Now, if you're going for a 3 foot tank, one XR30 might be enough. You could go 2x15, but that's what they're saying. The spread is enough on the new Gen 6 to go for a 4 foot tank. And if you're going a 3 foot tank,
but a few people I've listened to who I kind of take note of are going for more XR15s.
Yeah.
And having spread those, and separate. And I think I prefer that option.
Yeah. So over my 3 foot tank, I've got 2 XR15, the Gen 4s, and I would definitely have two. Their position, I don't know that. And I definitely prefer the pucks wider than going from XR30. Totally makes sense. There you go, UK Reefer. Haven't seen you for a while, so ran my new tank, and then moved everything across once the tank had cycled properly. Moved over some rock, a few scoops of sand, and some water. There you go. So. And there's always loads of different ways of doing it, isn't there? Yeah, go on, sorry, Jay.
This tank looks incredible. I think that's a really good way. I think that's really good advice. So
yeah, and
a little bit of everything from your existing tank going across. I think that's probably a good strategy.
Yeah, I think because some people need to replace their existing tank with a new tank in exactly the same place, so that comes a bit of a problem. But with you can set it up brand new as if you're starting from scratch, and do exactly as you do there, because you've got no pressure to move everything over, have you? You can have that running for 4 or 5 months while the other one just chills out, and you haven't got to rush it.
Yeah, in theory. So I wasn't nervous setting this one up. I think I was a bit naive to the hobby. I was like, oh, let's have a go. Let's see how we get on. I've been more nervous setting up the new one, but it should be easier because when I first set this, I had nothing. Everything was sterile. Yeah. I didn't have live rock. Didn't have any. The bio balls weren't seeded. Now I've got a foundation. It should be, in theory, it should be a lot easier getting the other one started.
Because if you put some rock in there, some bio balls. And some new sand, you might not even go for a cycle. There might be enough bacteria in that you don't need to. I mean, you could treat it as if you are, but with all that back, and also you could take some of that off the back, put some of those flakes in the new tank, and that helps seed it as well. So there's definitely advantages to setting up that second tank, I think, from certainly I've experienced. And you're not under the pressure to get fish in there and see it going because you've got that to look at. So that one could just stay empty, let it cycle, let it mature, ghost feed it if you wanted to, that kind of thing. And it makes no odds, does it?
But also, can you have a copper band butterfly in a 250? Because that's my favourite fish. No, don't say that.
I don't know. In a 3-foot tank, I don't know is the answer. I've never kept them before. I've stayed away from them. I think they're a lot easier to look after now from what we understand than they were years ago, but people still struggle with them. I don't know if anyone got a copper band in the chat and in a small 3-foot tank.
3 foot, I don't know. I just love that fish. I think it's a beautiful fish. It's not the most expensive. I know it's quite widely available, but I just think to look at it, it's a beautiful fish, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a comment there. Is the roller coaster so fast it blew your wig off, Joe?
It is. To be fair, it is. It's a good build. I've just noticed actually. My forest fire digis over there as well. It died.
Do you what? You've got a coral on the side. Oh, I see.
Yeah, it died unfortunately, but I just kept it because I thought it looked quite cool still.
Okay. Have you got a whole shelf of all your corals that have died?
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't killed that many corals, but that was one of them. The digi. I just noticed it next to my roller coaster, but yeah. So that one is a bit brown. Look, Paul. There you go.
Yeah, a lot of white and a little bit of brown.
A little bit of brown. Yeah. But so that one got stung as well. That's the problem.
There's a name here. I would name the big red man Thermodor, or was that too subtle?
Oh yeah, that's off the Lego Batman. Yes, as in the Lego link. I like that. Very good.
Yeah.
Thermodor, yeah, it could be a good. It's huge. It is absolutely huge. But that's why I like it, because I liked it because it's chunky.
Yeah. So comment there. Where has Ross been? Been very inactive on all the socials. Hope he's okay. So he is okay in himself, physically, that kind of thing. He's just got some stuff going on personally. He's taken a step back for a few weeks. We still, in fact, we haven't chatted him for that much recently. He's not really on the WhatsApp group, is he? He pops in every so often.
No, we don't really
see how he is, that kind of stuff. He will be back, that's for sure. It's just a case of when he's back that I'm not too sure. So hopefully soon, but
hopefully, because when all four of us on here, that's when I really enjoy myself.
Yeah,
all four of us back. So hopefully it's not too soon. And Ross, we look forward to seeing you again, mate. And a lot of people keep asking about him. Someone sent me a message today. Where's Ross? Has he hit the big time and he's left you guys behind?
It's only a matter of time before he does that. Before he starts mixing with the Coral 12G and all those guys, and we're left behind.
He'll be up there. He will be up there.
Absolutely.
But, we miss you, Ross. We miss you.
We absolutely do.
Escape Vegas.
You have a full-size roller coaster.
They do.
Lights from theme parks saying, "Come and try a roller coaster."
They do on the front. Yeah, it looks similar to that. To be fair.
Haley, I closed my 7 foot when my mum came to live with us, and she passed away. Sorry to hear that. Still, I kept in the small tank. Went straight to the 5 foot. New rock, new sand, corals and fishing. I didn't lose a thing. Fair play. I matched my parameters to what my new tank was over a few weeks. Only alkaline and calcium. So yeah, I think it was always that. There's different ways of doing it, and you've gone all in. You live in a fairly new build house, so the walls upstairs are stud walls. Get a joiner to reconfigure a room when you can have what you want.
That's a good point. You could actually like rebuild the house
for your fish tank. Well, when you see some of the stories that people do and what they do to their houses and their extensions and everything just for their fish tank, like that guy in America, in New York. I mean, it's unbelievable what people do.
So what Julian's saying there, so behind that wall there actually is an airing cupboard.
Yeah.
So if I bought a combi boiler, which my wife actually wants, so there you go, that could be a good way in. So you get the combi, then you don't need the water tank, and therefore, you could push that back by double the size.
So you could then, you won't be able to have a wider tank, but you could have a tank.
You could have a really deep tank, that way, like an XL tank.
But if it was, say, it had 3 foot wide, and then it was 3 foot deep, would you be able to reach across? You'd have to put your head in to reach across, wouldn't you?
Oh, you wouldn't be able to get to the back of it. Oh, it'd be a nightmare, wouldn't it, to be fair?
Yeah, so it sounds like a good idea, but I'm not too sure how practical that is.
No, it's not very practical, is it?
Unless you could get to the access the other side as well.
No, that's the stairs.
Okay.
You'd have to go halfway up the stairs, like
cleaning the glass. Do you know what, Jay? With your experience of the fans, I don't think it's a good idea.
Not
you hanging off the stairs trying to get to your fish tank the other side.
I think it's the longest ones I've ever had. I've had those about 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
But somebody messaged me. Who was it now? Somebody messaged me this week and said, "Guess what? My fans have just took a dive like yours did." And I never knew.
I saw that on Instagram because I
never knew how you managed to do it, but now I know because obviously it happened to them.
Yeah.
It's all about the flap here. The flap just.
It's all about the flap.
The flap drops down, and if you haven't got your net on, like I had at that time, then it goes straight in, and then all the water spins up. And then it switch off.
Right, custom tanks for the wing. Get exactly what you want and how you want it. Yeah, can't argue that.
Yeah, but when it comes to sumps, I don't know anything about sumps, so I'd have to ask you, Paul, because I don't know how I'd want the sump, because I don't know what a sump should be like.
I'd go for a smaller sump because you want a dry area, don't you? So you'd have the cabinet on the left or right. And then you've got to decide really what do you want to run. If you have a reef mat, then that's going to take up quite a bit of room. You then got to have your auto top up, so that will make it smaller as well.
Yeah. Skimmer.
You could look at the configuration of the kind of the Red Sea ones, and you could copy that if you wanted to. If you want to make it, and then it depends on kind of what you want. If you want a reef mat, I mean, they are quite big, aren't they? That's the issue with that. They look big. I don't know how that fits, and you can figure that into a 3 foot tank with a dry area of 9 inches wide or whatever. It doesn't give you a massive amount. I must admit, what I do like is having the auto top off. It's different to what it is on the Red Sea, because the Red Sea, they sit on top of the tank, and I've got that in this tank, and I've got that in the tank in the garage, and I hate it. So I much prefer, I'd give up a bit of sump to have the auto top off actually as part of the sump.
Yeah.
Because you can get it quite thin and put it
I wouldn't want it outside.
Yeah.
No, I'd want it inside. But like Lego stacked up. They have it stacked high, don't they?
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
So Carl should be the shallow reef king. Absolutely. Number shallow reef that I had, and he does like a shallow reef. There's a great one there for you, Jay. Poetry Witch. Call your shrimp Ed Sheeran. Only comes out for big audience.
I am a bit of a fan after last weekend. He was so good in Manchester. But good. Thank you for helping with the name.
Absolutely.
I don't know which one to go with now. Thermodor or Ed Sheeran. They're both pretty good names there.
Whatever you go with, you'll upset someone else. Ed Thermodor.
Ed Thermodor, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, maybe.
If that works or not. As Cotty's Reef got 2 XR15s over a 3 foot. Yeah. Nick is in the house with his yellow tang.
Yes. Hi, Nick.
Mate, have you had any?
Must have just finished his barbecue or something. He's joined us late.
So it's getting dark. Yeah. Have you had any experience of Reef Bright Coral Enhance or Live Rock Enhance? No, I haven't. Sorry, John. I haven't. I don't know if anyone else has in the comments and give some guidance on that. So, Reef Bright Coral must be coral food. I must admit, I can't remember what I use now. I used something today. I showed it last week on the. My mind's gone completely.
The Reef Rides, wasn't it? I think.
Yes, Reef Rides. So I used Reef Rides earlier today, actually, on both tanks. So I like Reef Rides because I know it puts loads in the tank. Things really inflate. The only problem is you have to watch your nutrients. So Live Rock Enhance. Is that to clean the rocks, or is that bacteria, John? I don't know. So again, if anyone else can help in there. Don't tell me Jay's got a new tank and not got it from me. No, he hasn't got a new one yet.
No, not
just
yet.
Talking about it.
It's coming in the autumn.
Yeah, so John's got a copper band in his 3-foot tank. How long you had it, John?
Let's see how much hate John gets now, and then I'll decide if I'm going to do it. John's the canary in the coal mine for me.
I've had one in my water box, which is 325. The sum he wouldn't eat though. Best to buy one from another reefer rather than the LFS.
It's my dream. It's my dream fish, really. You know, you've got everybody in this chat will have a dream coral and a dream fish, and you know things that you want to do with your reefing hobby. And that's when I get a copper band in a tank. That'll be a big moment for me. It'll be a special moment.
Yeah.
In a 200, I got because you can't. Some of them are tiny, obviously the real juvenile ones, but they might be really hard to keep. I don't know.
You got a combination of it being tiny, but also then it's got less food if there's natural foods in there.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've got a bigger tank, so if you had a 5 foot and it's quite long established, it can pick more. It's got copepods, all that kind of stuff. You might have a better chance. But I know very little about copper bands because I haven't had them, and I probably wouldn't get one because I'd be really upset if I got one and then it died.
Yeah.
Can't you get a tank to go behind you, Jay? Do you have 4 foot room now?
So I have. So I built this kind of desk area, and then it's got a cupboard. So it would mean, I've got like interior designers on the job here. Look, so it's kind of a cupboard just underneath it there.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I would. I mean, I suppose I'd have to take that desk out there.
Could you move that into the alcove where the roller coaster is, and then put a 4 foot tank along there if you've got room, and if you don't, and then you could go custom and go quite shallow, both in terms of height, or go shallow front to back. So therefore, it's no deeper front. What's that full? No, in terms of front to back of that, what's the depth of that, Jay?
This is 45. This is.
So you could go 45 with a sum, 4 foot long, 45 high, 45 long, custom, and therefore it doesn't stick out too much, and you've got a 4 foot tank.
So that would look good if I had it half on there and then half here.
Russell is a genius saying, get it behind you.
I think that'd look really good. I'd have like an L-shaped desk then, but then that bit there. It's got to be custom though, isn't that the thing? But that would look the best. Because another thing about the alcove is I don't really look that way. My desk is here, and like where it is now, I sit and work here during the week, and it's such a privilege to be able to just look at the tank whilst I'm working. Whereas if it's behind me, then it wouldn't work. Yeah, I think who said that? Russell.
Russell.
That could be the one. I might just need to rejig this desk area to get it all in. Yeah, I'm gonna need a joiner and a cabinet builder and a tank builder, I think, to do it properly.
Yeah. Because then what you do, you've got the cabinet and you've got the deck in an L shape, as you say.
Yeah.
And then the tank can just sit on there. You've got the sump underneath where you are there. So the tank goes across where the tank is at the moment, and then to the right of that, you just sump in your cabinet. So you've got an L-shaped tank on it. It's right behind you.
That'd look awesome.
I mean, you'd have to go. You would have to go custom, but then you got the nice same flow across your desk, and then it goes round.
That would look awesome. That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
that looked really nice, wouldn't it? That is the
Yeah.
way to do it. I'm excited, but I just need to be able to get to do it.
Yeah, you need to be able to find the person and also afford it.
Yeah, but the thing is, it is going to be like a dream tank for me. That is. I know it's only like 3 or 4 foot, but that'll be a dream tank for me.
Yeah,
and hopefully it lasts as long as yours does behind. If it lasts 7 or 8 years, then just in the dog cart again.
Oh, we've got a pole, we've got a ghost.
If it lasts 7 or 8 years, then I'd be absolutely delighted.
Yeah.
Someone, is it Kevin? Kevin's talking about putting many XR15s. He's got 3 on a 3 foot. Now that is a seriously good setup there.
Absolutely.
You can definitely get some SPS growing there with some serious colour.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go.
Oh, here it is.
Ding ding. Any more fares? Here he is.
There he is.
Come
Where
on,
have you
Steve.
been?
How's it going?
7
I'm
days.
not echoing, am I?
7 days since I've seen you.
No, Steve, you're not echoing.
Not echoing. What's going on? It's working.
We know this is what I've always got to say.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You hear me? Yeah, I can hear you.
So I just wanted you to say it. It's all right.
It's the start of the weekend. It's the start of the weekend.
Right. Okay. Let's just let's carry on going down the comments. And we'll come
I think it's been about 7 days since I last saw you, Steve. Oh, he's not even listening now, is he?
No, he's switched off. Right. The hardest thing in this hobby is removing pests and keeping them out. I had to restart.
Hi, guys.
And use non-perfume bleach and pressure wash. Yeah.
He's so behind. Oh, mate, I do love you. Tell you what.
Absolutely. Once you get pests, once you get pests in your tank, trying to get them out is really difficult. I find with even if you put like peppermint shrimps and you got aptasia and stuff like that, you think they're long gone. Peppermint shrimp dies, and all of a sudden an aptasia pops up, so you have to get more aptasia. So I'm not sure if you can ever remove something like aptasia, because even when you think the buggers are gone, they're still there and they'll still come back and stick their tentacles up at you.
Yeah, for sure. Evening, guys. Everyone's saying evening, guys.
Look at Paul keeping it really professional, carrying on with the stream.
Yes.
The show's
Mogsy in the house.
Mogsy in the house. We just need Ross to jump on. I tell you what.
I know. Hey, we'll all be back soon. We'll all be back
soon. Yeah, we'll all be back soon.
How's it going, Nick? Back shift 3-4. Jonathan, how's it going? Healer.
Oh, look at the love for you, Steve.
I'm appreciating the love. I'm appreciating it. I tell you, I'm really appreciating this.
There's a lot of love for you, Steve.
Yeah. Okay. Evening, guys. Evening.
So
how hot was it in the?
So how's things with you, Steve?
Yeah, it's all going well, mate. Can't say tank-wise, no problems whatsoever, really. Everything. I thought with this bit of heat that we've had, we might. But I don't know whether it's because it's an old house and my tank is in the centre of the room, yeah. But it's very rare that the temperature ever goes up, really high, like stupidly high. You know what I mean? It always seems to. It might go up by about 0.02 or 0.04 on the meter, but it doesn't go up like stupid, because I've seen some of them going up 27 degrees and 26.6 and 26.8, and I'm like, ooh, so it's like.
People in the chat said that they've gone up that much.
We've had 28 degrees is the hottest from the chat earlier on, and we also had some comments. We've had some right comments about lofts and keeping your loft hatch open and stuff like that. So we've talked about lofts and eaves, and I've missed a comment because I'm sure there was another comment earlier on as a follow-up when I said, "Does it make a difference about having the loft hatch open?" I think it was yes, it does make a difference. And the dynamics, I can't remember what it was now, Jay. The dynamics you use,
Thermodynamics,
that's the one. It sucks all the heat and everything else. So you've missed all kinds of science and geography, Steve.
It's been so much. It's been so much highbrow since you've not been on.
I'm really feeling a little bit confused. As like, if I open my loft, how that would keep my house cool downstairs.
Do you know, like a fire, Steve?
That's for another subject. But you know what? Maybe I'll look into
fire. All the heat gets sucked up the chimney, doesn't it?
Yeah, the heat rises. Yeah,
that's the concept.
Heat rises.
Yeah.
But my tank's in my living room, mate. It's in my living room. It's not upstairs on the landing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, there's another option. You can run a pipe from your fridge.
Yeah.
There you go. And your
Listen,
kitchen's next door to your living room, because I've seen it on your YouTube videos.
Exactly, and I think because it's in the centre, I think it's got a bit of good, both. It's good in both senses because I've got the kitchen, which is not too far, and then I've got the front window, which is not too far. So, I'm a bit blessed in that sense. But you know what? It is what it is.
Dream
We'll see.
There you go.
We'll see.
So we've got a few more comments on the heat. Mine has peaked at 26.2, then 26.7, and down to 26.6.
Yeah.
26.5, 27.6, and rising.
Yeah.
28 degrees is okay as long as you oxygenate and keep on top of the decomposition. Yeah.
I mean, how do we guys control if it goes over excessive? I mean, I know what I used to when it was. Remember when we had that long spell of really long heat? It was about 2 or 3 weeks, wasn't it? Was it last year or so? And my tank raised up because it was stifling, and it raised up, and then I just got, like you said, Rudra there, put some plastic water bottles, and I stuck them in the sump. Yeah. You know what I mean? Stuck them just to cool it down, and it definitely dropped it because the heat was in the sump anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it definitely cooled it for sure. But then the ice just melted so fast because I froze the bottles.
Yeah,
it just melted so fast. You know what I mean? So it doesn't last long.
Yeah. So to answer that question, Martin, I run mine at about, I think mine's about 20, I don't know why, 24.8. I don't know why I chosen 24.8, but that's what the DD temperature controller's on. And I think, because I've got Apex on this one, I think that's roughly the same as well. I run mine fairly low. I was thinking of actually taking it down even lower. I won't at the moment, but maybe in the winter I will, more from the electricity point of view. But you can run it 24.5. What I've heard is if the higher the temperature, it can encourage.
That seems low to me as well.
That's low. That's really low.
I thought 25 and a half is the
minimum. Yeah,
it's the sweet spot, isn't it?
I've not had a problem at 24.8.
I might run mine a bit lower this year because obviously the cost of heating, but just to save a few quid.
Run it a degree less.
Do you know what though? The first time I put when you get your tank up to temperature, I put my hand in. It's like it's not even that warm. Like,
no, it's not.
I thought Reef water was quite warm. When I went in the Red Sea, I'm sure it was warmer than my fish tank. It felt warmer anyway. When I went swimming in the Red Sea. But it don't feel that warm when you put your hand in, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No.
I sometimes have to check to say, has the heat actually gone off? Has it gone? It's okay.
Yeah.
So I have done that before. So I know exactly what you.
Because people who don't know about the hobby, the first thing you want to do is come in, let me see how warm the water is. I'm like, no, keep your bloody hands out.
Yeah, they've got soap dripping off their hands.
I'm like, no, get away. You can look from the door.
25.5.
Yeah.
Temperature speeds up metabolism. Yeah.
Interesting.
It does stress them though when it gets to a certain temperature.
You see, Because so Nick said temperature speeds up metabolism. And then I would have thought like it would have stressed them out, like if it raises up so quick, like because it doesn't raise up over time, does it? When we have heat, when we have very hot weather, it goes up like straight away, doesn't it? Like by 1 degree or 1.5 degrees, depending on your tank. So I mean, like I said, I've just been very lucky that it's not really gone up as much, you know what I mean? But I have seen some people where the whole tanks have been especially SPSs. All completely shredded, you know what I mean? Because the temperatures have gone up by 2.5 degrees or something, and they've not controlled it, they've not got it down in time. So, and I've seen that firsthand, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's
it all depends what you keep. Like you say, if you've got SPS dominated higher end, I suspect, like you say, they're going to be more susceptible. If you've got softies and LP, it's like anything, like your nutrients and everything else. If you've got those swings in temperatures, the SPS are going to hate it. I think I've lost a SPS once or twice, but it's happened a couple of weeks later, so it's been a bit of a delay. So they haven't stripped straight away.
Right.
So that's a good tip to reduce the temperature, get your bill down. Going to think about that.
So there you go. There's the daily tip.
The
tip of the day. You missed the tip of the day.
Oh yeah, Steve. Go on then.
Right, here you go. Look. So to keep the Pico cooler, just put the
you stick it on the side.
Yeah, but you see what we do? Keep the Pico the Pico.
Oh, come on, Jay. Come on, mate.
Sorry, I thought you'd quite like that.
You've been thinking of that all day, haven't you?
I know, yeah.
For sure. Do you know what? He probably got it off of someone else off Instagram.
I did actually.
Yeah. There we go.
I can't claim it. Wasn't mine. Anyway, it does work though.
So John Wright had massive success training this fish. It was amazing, but one day it goes blind. He invested countless hours on the fish. So very sad to let it go. I think that's Russell. Did I see that's a copper band that you had? We're talking about copper bands, Steve, and Jay was talking about if he gets an upgrade 3-foot tank. He's a 3-foot tank, too small for a copper band. I couldn't remember if you had a copper band, Steve.
No, I was. To be fair, it was one of the fish I mentioned in my. I think it was my last. Or was it the last video? I can't remember. I'm thinking of getting. Yeah, I'm thinking of.
I thought you might be bloody getting one now.
No. I'm thinking of getting one.
Everything that I want before me.
Hey.
and then goes out of his way to tell me he's got that as well.
Hold on a minute. You got that
P6. I've got the bloody Pico Acro.
You got that pinky balls got in. Put it on, Sally, mate. You went right behind my back and got a pair of pinky balls, mate. What's all that about?
I went behind your back and got pinky balls.
I got pinky balls.
If you've just tuned in, this is a Reef live stream, nothing else.
Oh dear. Handbags from 200 miles.
Yeah.
No, right.
Yeah, copper bands stay, I think. They are
they're a beautiful fish, but they're very finicky, aren't they? I mean, I know like a lot of them do tend to eat like aptasia. I have known a lot of them that eat aptasia, but they're dead finicky, and if they don't eat that, and then they're very, believe it or not, they're very slow eaters as well. They're not very fast. They're not very quick fish. So if they get bullied out of the food and stuff, the mysis and stuff, that's how they starve. A lot of them tend to starve to death, don't they? Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm going to probably stay away from it, to be fair. But I was because my tang had died and the fox face had died. I thought, well, maybe I could get one. Something different for the tank. But I thought about it, and I'm going to pass up on that. I'm going to look for another fish, to be fair. So I'm going to look for another one.
No, don't get a copy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So here's Nick. So he's getting new tanks. Haven't had a tank for a couple of years. So Nick, you're novice, are you? I mean, go to Jay. He knows his stuff.
No, I don't. Everything I know, I've either watched YouTube or I've got it from you guys.
I think you know a lot more than you let on, to be fair, when we have conversations and stuff.
But it's all taught off YouTube or from YouTube. And Ross was there. I picked up a few things from Ross as well, but that's where you pick it up from.
Also from Nick, what stresses them is if you don't oxygenate and keep on top of the decomposition and utilization, that stresses them out. Fair point.
Yeah.
Wait, similar to work throughout the day, do we need to look at heating too? So at midday it is higher. Let's read that again.
Wait, similar to light throughout the day, do we need to look at heating too? So at midday, is it higher?
So I think the heat, you're heating, the temperature should be pretty constant 24/7. Yeah. Whereas obviously you light, you're off, and then your gears up, you go along, and it comes back down.
Yeah.
I'd say your heating, your temperature should be static,
stable,
as much as you want your alkalinity.
Yeah.
Right, so let's come down from other comments. My copper band follows me when I walk past the tank. I mean, I've got a few fish that do that, usually because they're hungry.
They do come to the glass, don't they?
So anyone tried this new food? No, Nick, I must admit I haven't tried that food. I haven't heard of it.
No.
But then I'm a bit of a stickler. I get food and I stick to it. I must admit I don't tend to experiment that much. Although what I tend to do is frozen is a staple diet, and then I might try different kind of pellets and that from time to time.
I think that's a dangerous hobby, because when you're with something and it works, you tend to stick with it, and you're not going to try new things, are you really? And I'm a bit like that now. I know my brands that I like, and it's going to be hard now for me to. I feel like I'm taking a risk if I try a new food or a new fish food or new coral food, because I know what works at the moment. So it must be quite hard to break that cycle. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Temperature speeds up ick if you're managing that.
Interesting.
About that. Yeah.
No.
I've heard that somewhere else as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard about if your temperature's higher, then potentially you get outbreak of algae and algae and stuff like that, which kind of makes sense. If your corals are growing faster, does it then encourage nuisance algae?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Isn't ick or is it white spot? I don't know. One of them's a stress response, so maybe the temperature would stress.
Ick is.
Yeah.
Is that
stress of it?
Yeah, stress response, isn't it?
Yeah.
Next fishing tank in September. Thinking of a caught jester goby sand sifter.
Ooh.
The only sand sifters is it really do need, I think from what I've seen, is mature tank, because they do eat from the sand and everything else. And if you've got quite an immature tank, they can starve. I don't know too much about a caught jester goby.
I think Aquarian's tank will be about 10 months by then, something like that.
Yeah.
11 months. So would that be mature enough? I don't know.
You're probably on the boundary of it should be, because it's got a level of maturity to it, and you got probably enough food in the sand, I suspect.
Yeah.
Anyone
tempted?
Are you watching EastEnders there, Steve?
No, I'm just reading some. I'm scrolling down the comments, while Nick's reading. While he's reading them, I'm reading what all the other put, like Nick and all that. Just scrolling down it. Yeah.
So anyone used frozen spinach? I must admit,
No.
I haven't.
No. Anyone tempted by the 275? You know what? I'd love a gem tank. I mentioned that they're one of my favourite tanks, the gem tank, black wall spot. I absolutely love it. And like I said, the only reason I would never put another tank in my tank was because they had my yellow tank, and sadly she's no longer here. So I would be tempted. I would definitely be tempted. £275.
Is that
£275? They used to go stupid money, mate.
It was a lot more expensive, weren't they? Yeah, they £500-600 quid, weren't they? So why have they become a lot cheaper?
Because a lot of people got nanos.
Or maybe because no one buys them.
You know what? It could be, like why have torch corals come down, because there's that many on the market now. Torch corals have come down, haven't they? I seen a holy grail. We're only talking 6 months ago, 7 months ago, they were going for 500 odd pound a head, £600 a head. I've seen some of them, and now I'm seeing them for like 275, 300 a head. You know what I mean? £250 a head. Big drop in difference, from them. And I mean, they look okay, but everything looks good in a photo that's photoshopped, doesn't it? So you never know until you actually see it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I've always said I prefer to go and collect them, in person, or see them there, because, like Jay, you went to Signature Frags, you see it, don't you? You see them there, don't you? You know what I mean? What you're buying and stuff. You know what I mean? But it's a lot better for me, I think. But
there just seems to be, like we said this, there seems to be just less coral around at the moment. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it does actually.
As much does the special pieces or whatever at the moment. It seems a bit quiet.
Yeah, there's only, like you said, certain shops that specialise in it. Like you said, Signature Frags. Yeah, I mean, what's it called? Prestige Reef. He's got some nice stunners in and all that as well. You know what I mean? So he's got some beauties.
I noticed there's not a shortage of coral, but there's a lot of people closing their tanks. So you got the standard stuff that's out there. And I agree on the on the torches, because I've seen locally people selling 2 heads of gold torches for 130 quid. The standard was kind of like 150 for 1 head. But you're right. If there's more people going out the hobby and there's a glut of stock out there, then the prices are going to come down. Relatively speaking, they're still expensive, but not as they were. The only thing I've seen that the price is consistently high and is getting higher is rainbow chalice. I see small pieces now going for 500-600 quid. Yeah. And the picture they look quite big until you realise the frag plug they're on is a standard size. And you realise how small it is. But they seem to be 500-600 quid for a rainbow chalice. Yeah. And not even as good as the ones that you two guys have got, from what I've seen. That one does seem to hold its price, because I think there's so few of them around because they're so slow to grow. To grow, you guys.
I agree. Like you said, the chalices, rainbow chalices, and all that. They just like you said, they're so slow growing. You know what I mean? Mine because I put mine on that frag plug. You know that the frag plug, and it was raised up. Yeah. All of the what it started to do now, it started to curl under the frag plug, and I'm like, holy no. So what I've got to do now is I've got to take it off, and then I've got to put like frag plugs underneath it, and build it up around it, so it's all touching it because it started to curl under all the greens, all the yellows, and everything. So I've got to do that this weekend. Well, Sunday I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
but it's so slow growing for sure.
Absolutely. Just a very small fish. You need a very mature tank, and then another one. They dump sand on your corals. There's quite a few gobies, isn't there, that live on the sand. And I had one once, and I won't get it again because they're nightmares. You get it all over your corals. It goes into the water column, so it's all quite misty. And you think, I wish I hadn't got that.
You never have crystal clear water again, will you? That's the thing.
No.
All sand particles.
From Finest Aquatics, it is, isn't it?
Bargain
Finest
price.
Aquatics.
Yeah, I need to go. I need to see that shop, Finest Aquatics.
Yeah, I've heard some good things about that. Yeah.
Have you? Isn't it near you, Steve? You haven't been there, have you?
No, it's in Widnes, isn't it? Is it Widnes?
It's northwest,
It's northwestish. It's not far. I think it's about 30 minutes, 30 odd minutes from me. I think is it 35 minutes.
I'm going to AAC at the end of August. Definitely. Have you seen that video on Fragbox?
You know what? I think I might join you because I think I might be going myself.
I'm going bank holiday weekend. I'm going to go on the Friday, I think.
Oh, are you? Well, let us know, and then I'll meet up down there.
Yeah,
I
might join you. Yeah, I might join you, mate. Let me know the exact date, and then I can book it off. Yeah. If I'm in, then I'll just book it off because I go away on holiday from the 3rd of August for 2 weeks. So then when I get back, I can put another 1 day in or something, and then we'll go down there. Yeah, for sure. That'd be good.
I'd love to go down with everybody there. That'd be good. Right?
That'd be great, mate.
Yeah. Steve, a copper band would look amazing in your tank. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what? It would, but it's like I said before. It's just they're very tricky. You need one which is eating. You need one that's not finicky. And because I don't like seeing anything die in my tank. So something like that. They're just beautiful fish, aren't they? So I wouldn't want to see that. I wouldn't want to see that starve to death. You know what I mean? I have guilt. Me, I really go into myself when it happens. I feel like they're guilty. You know what I mean? So it's like
you were struggling the other week, weren't you? And you'd lost your other fish.
Oh, mate, you know what? I mean, flipping it. Yeah, I really don't understand what happened to that. But I think
it seems more coincidental. Have you got your ICP back or not?
No, I've still not got it back. No,
really.
I got a Triton one. I sent a
Triton one off. Now, apparently.
So have they received it? Have they received it? Because you get a notification when they receive it, but they haven't processed it.
They've not processed it. No, they received it, but they've not processed it.
It's a pain, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it might be busy. It might be busy. You just never know, do you? So I'm assuming that's what it is. So but they did say that they received it. So just have to wait now. But there's definitely not anything in the water. There's nothing like that. I'm telling you, there's nothing because all the other fish would have suffered. So I really don't know. I think it was just happened. I think it was coincidence that the fox face died and then the tang died. Do you know what I mean? That's all I can. I assume, but we don't know.
Yeah. Conversation going on about ban on shipping Australia, and so I think that's certainly affecting Scollies, and Nick's are putting out about Scollies.
Yeah,
it's interesting now. Some people are still bringing in Scollies and other things from North Australia, and I heard a story. And what people do is there's a ban from Australia into UK, but they take them via Hong Kong and use CITES out of Hong Kong. I'm not saying that's what's happened, and I don't know if that's illegal or not. But I have heard about people taking things for other routes and getting CITES, and that's how they bring things in the country. Just a rumour. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's weird how there's some bans in Australia, but some places are getting loads of stuff in still from Oz. But I don't know. I don't know enough about it. They have a range of bespoke tanks of finest. We make the finest aquarium range. Good to know.
Oh, right. Wow. I'm definitely I'm gonna pay that place a visit actually.
You're mad going that way on Bank Holiday Friday. That might be
possible.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a holiday down there. I'm going down to Kent.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
mad.
it's possible.
Hopefully I make it then. Maybe if I travel at certain times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where's Harlow? Is it northeast?
So what's that? Sorry.
Whereabouts is Harlow? Is it northeast?
No, it's north.
East?
It's junction 26 of the
northwest?
M25. So from where you are in Kent, it depends where you are. M20, M25 across the Dartford crossing.
Dartford,
Depends on whereabouts you are in Kent. You're talking 45 minutes to an hour.
That sounds, yeah. I'm going Canterbury way.
Oh, yes. I'm talking about an hour.
Dartford. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Dartford.
Cool. Holy Grail bought for £80 a head. Bargain lost.
Oh, wow.
Wow. No, that is good.
Wow, that is a bargain.
That is.
Yes.
Camping in Paul's garden, Joe.
Yeah, treat the family well.
Yeah. We've got the cabin, we've got a pool, we've put up a tent, you'll be fine.
Well, I know. Well, I don't think your garden will be accessible then, right? You have an extension. I'm sure you.
Whether it'll get done by then or not is another matter, but
it'll be a building site, won't it?
It will be, yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
I sent off.
Look at this, Kevin.
How's
he got his like that?
Ah, you see.
How's he got his like that? You know what? To be fair, yeah, I've had problems with these before. Remember when they lost my other one last time? It was not last time, it was the time before. I sent one off and they lost it, didn't they? And then they sent me a free Triton test out to do it again. You know what I mean? Yeah. I seem to have trouble with these guys, you know. I was originally doing what was the other one that I did? The Aquaforest one. I did the Aquaforest.
Yeah.
And then I thought, you know what? I'll just switch to the Triton. Did the Triton because I like the layout of Triton. You know the way they do it all. And stuff.
Absolutely.
And I thought, and then they give points and all that. So that's what I like, you know, about it. But two times out of three, I've had problems with them.
They must know yours. Like when they come in, they'll see mugs and it's like, oh, let's put that one side. It'll be all right.
His water's fine. He's not done a water change for 3 years.
I've seen his YouTube channel. He doesn't change his water. He's not bothered about it that
much. You know what? I reckon you're right, mate.
I reckon they've seen your YouTube promoting no water changes.
Promoting no water changes. Yeah.
There you go, Jay. South East Reef. He's in Kent. He's going AAC tomorrow. I'm near Canterbury. By the sea. You will love it around there. It's a nice.
I can't wait. I've never been to Kent, so I've already booked to be there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kim's saying she's down in Herne Bay.
Oh, so Kim's near there.
Sorry.
I'll tell you when I'm going, and if anybody else fancies meeting up as well or whatever, then we'll go and have a little chat and look at it. Just that video, that Fragbox TV video, just looks so. I've got to go. And there's a few colours on there that I wanted. And they don't post it.
No, they don't.
No.
It's collection. It's collection only.
Yeah.
So Kim, I saw earlier on you was looking for a fish. If you message AAC, they might have one of those that you're looking for. I can't remember what you're looking for. It might be a Scooter Blenny, wasn't it? I think it might have been. When I was last in there, I think they had some, but I was in there 3 weeks ago. If they haven't, they might be able to get you one in because Herne Bay to AAC is an hour and 20, maybe an hour. So not too far away from you. Pub extension, not quite. It might be if I ever get it done.
Nice.
There we go. Cool. Reef Elements. The ICP results are great. 24 to 48 hours.
I mean, yeah. I think I sent mine Wednesday.
But someone else.
Sorry.
See, there's another one.
When you sign up for so I've had Triton. So then you set up an account and then you have all your previous results.
Yeah.
And then it matches it to your previous. So then you kind of get tied in, don't you? That's why you go back to Triton or whatever.
That's
That's why
I do like the way it's laid out, though. You know, with Triton, so it gives you your results, and it gives you the results, and it gives you like what they recommend, and then and stuff like that. So I do like the layout of that. Some of them just give you basics, don't they? You know, like what your results are, and that's it basically. You know, sort it out yourself. You know, so I mean. Yeah, I do like it, but like I said, I do have a bit of trouble with it. I really don't know why. I don't know what. Seriously, don't know why I have problems
You're
with them.
saying don't change your water there. That's their bread and butter business. So you're taking them out of business.
I'm not saying. Hey, I'm not saying don't change your water.
Yes, you do.
I'm saying maintain your water. You can maintain water.
Maintain
You
it.
can maintain your water. You can maintain your water by just adding your additives and all your trace elements.
The salt companies hate you. They hate you, Steve. They absolutely hate you. The salt companies. You put them out of business.
Yeah, you would put them out of business.
I appreciate it. I love a bit of hate. We've all got to have a bit of hate. We've all got to have a bit of hate, haven't we?
Let's have a bit of controversy. Otherwise, it's boring, isn't it?
Absolutely,
mate.
Water change because I mean your tank looks incredible, so clearly it works. So there you go.
Listen,
absolutely.
If we all did the same thing, life would be boring, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? So that's the way I look at it. We need a bit of change.
So someone that so Stu's Reef, UK based IPC comes back really quick.
Everybody else gets theirs back straight away.
Yeah, they've got a red flag on Steve's test.
The people in the chat was trying to wind you up, Steve, because everybody's saying, "Oh, mine came back the other day, and mine's here."
I got mine back yesterday. I haven't sent it yet.
Yeah, they're all winding me up.
I know.
Right? What's all this about?
I sent mine last night. And it's come back this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it says do a water change.
Do a water change. You lazy kids.
Yeah.
That will solve everything.
You know what? I'm waiting for that to happen. I'm waiting for that to happen.
Rebranded the lazy reef for you now. That's it.
Me? Hey, listen.
Moxie, the lazy reefer. Or smart reefer. I don't know. There's a fine line.
Hey, very, very true that. Very true that, Jay.
There's a secret. I didn't have one large first class stamp, so I stuck 4 small first class stamps. It's all about the stamps.
Yeah.
Did you use the second class still? Are you still using second class? Is that what's going on here?
Well, that might have something to do with it, you know.
There you go, Joe. You have to take your interpreter if you're coming down
south. It's going to be a bit warm for me down there. It never rains either, does it?
I think it will be. Yeah, Kent is quite dry. Sounds like you'll go there and it'll rain the whole week.
It better not do.
Hopefully not. I watched the Frogbok video. Really need to go see 2 hours on the train for me, 4 hours there and back. That's an investment of time.
It does look really good.
It's more than that for me, isn't it?
Yeah.
To get there.
Yeah.
5.5 hours, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it will be.
Would it be?
We've
I'd probably end up staying. Me and the missus might go down actually, stay over for the night or something.
You have a little holiday down there.
Well, you could stay central London or something, Steve, then come out to me, because that'll be easy, and then we can drive around the M25 today. Because I'm 25 minutes from from the city of London. So if you stayed around Tower of London, around that area, you can get to me in 25 minutes, and then we could go round. It'd be a damn sight, because it's hard to get there by train, because it's the other side of the M25. But if you wanted to have a weekend in London or something like that, then we could pop out.
Yeah,
so we could do that.
I'll probably figure. I'll probably figure something out. Like I said, I'll have to see my holidays, because obviously I just come back off holidays, so I'll have to put.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Imagine that. I'm coming in. Can I
He's going to drive the buses in Manchester. By the way, I don't know how you drive a bus in Manchester. When I went to that concert at Sheeran, oh my God.
One minute.
That city just locks up. What a nightmare.
I know. It's a nightmare, isn't it, mate? It's hell on earth. You know what? I was late today, mate. Near enough. I was like, "What the hell's going on?" It's just crazy, Manchester. It's just gridlocked. You know what I mean? All the time. So it is. It's
cool. It's a cool city, and it's very happening. There's loads going on, but it just can't cope with all the people, can it? It just jams up.
No. There's just like you said. There's just more and more. Yeah. Let's say I'm just looking. Oh, Nick there. Yeah, Mogsy needs a Master Reefers Don't Change Water t-shirt. Hey, you're right there, Nick. 100%. We'll figure. We might get one of them made.
We'll get one. I think Ross has got a website for making t-shirts.
Oh yeah, you can do. Yeah,
we can.
That's a cracker. That's a cracker one. Yeah,
Master Reefers Don't Change Water. There you go.
There's another one. Reef Factory ICP.
Everybody else.
And everyone knows what their tank's doing, and you don't, Steve. Nothing personal.
Listen, I just look at it, mate. And
did you not take the urgent box because you fish?
No, I don't think so. I don't know what I ticked. I just did what I did on the other two. And it just.
I don't think there's an urgent box. Don't worry about it.
No, yeah. Yeah.
It's not the KH keeper, it's the ICP. You want an ICP plus? That would be all right, Steve.
Hey, there's not wrong with my KH keeper now. We'll have no bad talk about that no more. We've got this nice love affair going now. Me and my KH keeper, we're all happy. Everything's all going in sync, with it all. We're happy. KH keeper's fine now.
Yeah,
no problem. Yeah,
you still use your HANA checker to see what your KH is, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
No way. We use that to judge, mate. To judge to see which one's more.
You trust the HANA more than the KH keeper.
No, I don't trust the HANA, and you put me off that HANA checker, UJ. Now I don't. When all this thing saying you can open your bottle and it runs out after 1 week and all that, I'm like, whoa. So now you knocked me for 6 on that now, Jay. You put me off it. Yeah, you put me off it. You knocked me for 6 on that one, mate. I'm not happy. I love that HANA checker, and you just like.
I think it's really good. You just got to make sure your fluids, in date.
Yeah, but hold on a minute. It's like a month. You've got to use it in a month. Like 25 tests. Like,
you got to be quick.
No. Somebody said, oh, I've seen it after a month and a half.
28 tests in a month. Is that what it is? 25 tests in a month.
Yeah, that's like doing one every day. I thought you don't want to do it every day.
You come for mass, you're in the right place.
Yeah, no way, mate. No way.
Roofing, loft conversions, and maths. This is your channel.
Absolutely.
Make sure you hit the
like here, and you get it live on a steamy Friday night. You get it live.
Reefers DIY. The Reefers DIY.
Wait a minute, I'll be back.
No, the dog wants to go out.
Oh, mate. DC Reef, and I'm just having a look. Anyone use the Red Sea gyres? Yeah, I love it, mate. I've got DC. I've got the Red Sea Forte, the larger one, on mine. And then on the other side, I have the Max Spec gyre. But the Red Sea gyre is 10 out of 10, mate. Connectivity, no dropping connectivity because it's Wi-Fi as well. Absolutely perfect. So you can set a program of what you want to do. You know what I mean? So you can put like 10 different schedules all the way through the day to run it on. Great gyres. I love gyres anyway. I've said it before.
Yeah,
I just think it just gives something different in the tank. You know what I mean? So I really do like gyres for sure.
I prefer the movement of the corals as well. Like if you've got a lot of LPS, they seem to move better, more rhythmic, aren't they, than the power heads?
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Love it.
Grumpy Reefer, be up for a meet.
Yeah. Anybody who's there that's fancies it, come down.
We'll sort out a date then we'll go for that. And then I don't know if I put this up before. Steve, you could take us all down in the bus. A busman's holiday.
Yes, get the bus down.
You know what? We could,
first choice, no choice. What's it called? I can't remember that company. First choice.
First. Not first choice. No, first is.
All right. Okay.
And there you go. There, you need to do an ICW. I change water. And there's another one there about Fauna Marine are pretty quick too. So it sounds like everyone else is getting their ICPs done other than you, Steve. But just saying.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you all cheering me up. Yeah, I really do. Yeah.
This is a group wind up here.
Hey, you know what?
We'll look forward to the update next week or maybe next month.
We're all good.
Yeah,
we're all good. We're all good, mate. We're all good.
Yeah, and Southeast Reef, I used the Red Sea Reef Wave 25. Lovely, mine XL200. Did you upgrade to G6 or did I imagine that in a video? If so, would you recommend upgrading to G6?
Did Steve upgrade?
Oh, Steve. Oh, right. So G. So, do you want to talk about the... we only got 6 minutes, but G6.
Quick. G6. No, I did. Roger, I did, I upgraded to the G6 Blue XR30s. Last video, was it the last video that I showed him? Yeah, I think it was the last video that I showed him. So, would I recommend upgrading them from G5, I'm assuming that is, Would I recommend an upgrade from a G6? yeah, from a G5 it is. She means, don't they? Yeah. I would have thought. I'm reading it now.
Yeah.
Did Steve upgrade to G6?
No,
Or
you
did
didn't.
I
Well, you
imagine that in the
replaced,
video?
didn't you? You didn't. Yeah, you did. I suppose you did upgrade from the lights you had. Yeah.
Yeah. If so, would you recommend upgrading from G5? From the G5, do you mean there, don't I? Yeah. Well, to be fair, I said this. I've never had Radeons before in my life, so it's just completely new. It's a completely different system, different light. Yeah. I mean, I was like all up in the air with it. You know what I mean? But from what I've read and from what I've heard of people, they've said that really you don't really need to upgrade to the G6. You know what I mean? That's what the only difference is the light spread. The light spread is night and day. Now, obviously, mine were 4 years old, 3.5, 4 years old, mine. But I could see it straight away. It's just night and day. And like I said, at the end of the day, those lights is like the Rolls Royce compared to what I had. Do you know what I mean? They're just totally different. Now, am I slagging the Hydras off? No chance. Because if anything happens to them, you will put the Hydras back on. No problem whatsoever. You know what I mean? They're fantastic. Because they basically grow my tank out. You know what I mean? So, absolutely nothing on. But for the time being, and I said it last week, I think only time will tell 3 to 6 months. And then come and ask me and I'll tell you then.
What do you think of this, though, Steve? People mixing the blue and the pro. I think that's quite... Have you seen them? So they'll have like a 4-foot tank. They'll have 2 pros and they'll have 2 blues. And I think that sounds like a good strategy there. You're going to have a much bigger spectrum. I quite like that idea. How many of you got?
Only if you go for the XR15s.
Yeah, the XR, the small one, but you get
a lot of the lights. You need to mix it up, don't you? Probably a bank of 3 or 4 and a 3 or 4 to be able to do it.
I quite like the idea of that.
What I'd do is if like say for instance on my 4-foot tank, I've just gone with 2 XR30s. I just think 2 looks better, like just 2 arms over it. It just looks better for neat, or it just looks nicer. When I was running the 4 lights on mine, it just looked too busy, too over. It just took it away. It was good. It grew the corals, but it just didn't look. It looked a bit messy, And then when I put the 2, but another way you could do it is if you could put 4 XR15s on. And then what you could do is you could have one. You could have 1 blue, 1 pro, 1 blue, 1 pro, and do it that way. That I think would be a good idea as well. You know what I mean?
But that would that cost more though? That would cost more, wouldn't it?
Well, no, I think it'll cost about the same. It would work out the same price. I think. Yeah. I think it would work out the same because you look at what is it? What are they about? 340,
nearly 400 for 15, isn't it?
400. Yeah. Well, yeah. So it will be because they're £800, aren't they? A piece, the XR30s. So it work out exactly the same.
So Radra, Steve, you've already done 2 videos, haven't you, on the Gen 6? I know obviously you need probably 3-6 months to see how to go over a period of time. Yeah. But I know you got a couple of videos, and I know the conversations we had that you was really impressed with the spread, the colour.
Yeah,
you had to take them right down low because of the par that comes out of them.
And that's the main thing. I spoke to Nick about like the par and stuff, but there's a lot more that goes into it. It's not just the par, what you need to think of. I always was under the impression that it is about the par, but it's not. There's just a load of different things you got to think of when you're doing it, and when you're choosing lights. Do you know what I mean? But from what I can see is like even on the short time, 2.5, 3 weeks, seeing all new white tips. Now I thought, is it bleaching? But it's not. It's all growing flesh over it.
So
on the hair suit. So there's definitely something going on. Yeah. And like I said, the only time I'll ever really be able to know is in 3 to 6 months, and then I'll be able to say, listen, night and day, good or bad, and that's the only way you can do it is all the time. A lot
of coral farms use those blue Radians that you've got. There's got to be a reason why they use them.
Absolutely. And DC Reefing saying is, I have a G5 Pro and 1 blue, so he's got 2 and he's mixing it. That's with two lights.
Do you like the idea?
Kevin's talking about G6 has better spread, but does not go deeper down like a G5, which makes sense because you said before it comes across as opposed to directly down. So
because
G5 and a deeper
because
tank.
the G5s, they got their angle of attack sort of thing is only at 110, is at 110, whereas on the G6s, it's 126, so it's more, it's out by 16 degrees more, so the spread is more across. You know what I mean? But I must say, before we run out of time, is like definitely check the part when you do it. Check the part, because I mean, I'm running mine at 30% power intensity. That's the difference, and yet I was running my hydras at about 70%, 75%. So massive difference in power. You know what I mean, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't believe we're running out of time.
We have run out of time. So next week, Steve, I think if you're not working, we're over on your channel. I know we've talked about the G6s before, but I think those who want to know about G6s, come back next week. Because I think we'll have a bit more detail about it, because it's a really good topic. And
hopefully we can talk about my ICP test results as well.
Well, if nothing else, we can either find out you've got it or find out who else has got it and you haven't. So either way, we find out about it. So thank you for everyone who's tuned in. I can't believe how many people. We've still got 50 people watching on a hot, steamy night where actually the Guardian, I wouldn't blame you if it's more of a appeal than listening to us breathe gas off. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining. And we're over on Steve's next week, hopefully. But
100%.
Have a great reefing weekend or whatever you're doing, and we'll see you next week.
Enjoy your weekend, guys.